Welcome to Acting 101, which is a monthly podcast featuring myself, Alana Pierce, Ben Starr, Erika Ishii, and Abu Bakar Salim. The show is about all things acting from the perspective of some very cool voice and video game actors. And it is entirely supported by our supporters on Patreon. So if you would like to support the show, check us out on Patreon. Everyone, this is an ASMR episode. I'm going to hit start recording.
Everyone's just going to whisper, okay?
I swear this is how we bump subscriber numbers. Hello.
Erika, has anyone ever told you that you're like inherently seductive?
Oh.
You just went,
yeah,
hello.
a couple people
And I went,
actually,
hey.
Thank you. Hello.
The way she said thank you, oh my god.
It's about the lower timber.
That's cool.
Yeah. Everybody's voices are very sexy.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of like, this is what you want to hear when you just whisper into someone's ear. And
So
just,
are you, Ben. All right. I get I'm Australian. We can't all have sexy voices. Okay.
you can do
know,
sexy. You
Australian
can do
still does
sexy.
it.
Do
Can
sexy.
I'm pretty sure Australian.
Am I
There it
sexy?
is.
There you
No, I
go.
feel like I kind of go robotic. Ooh.
Yeah.
Am I
There
doing
it
it?
is.
You can like just keep it in your lower register. Go
Lower.
like in your lower register. Just like drop it down.
Drop it down.
Yeah. That's right.
Is that good? Is that working for you?
Drop it down low.
Drop a real.
Yeah. Yeah.
My voice is already very low.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a nice voice.
thank you. That really means a lot coming from you, Ben Starr
great.
and Erika Ishii. That we don't need to record anymore. Somebody clip that and put that up.
You have a nice voice.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
That's right.
I had to do, so I did some,
You don't
I
have
did
to keep
some
whispering, by the way.
I'm in
Yeah.
a game.
Yeah. Are you still doing it
I'm
on
in a
purpose?
game called Warframe 1999, and there is
Heard
a
of it, yes.
dating sim. There is a dating
Mhm.
sim aspect of it, and the whole thing that you can do in that game is like if you like spend enough time with the people, you can get them to move into your back room, and they stay there, and like
Just like
yeah,
in
just
real
like in
life.
real life, just hang out in your
Yeah.
back room.
Great.
Do you have a job?
I've got room up like that.
But like it was just like you'd have to do all these different states, and it was to the point where like the more that you loved them, the more like quiet I got. And so like when I was doing it, it just basically ended up with ASMR being like, hey,
Well, it feels more
I've
intimate,
missed you
doesn't
so
it?
much. You look so nice today. And it got to the point where it was like I don't even speak like that to my fiance. Like when I'm moving in the back room, I'm like, you can take the washing out. You can do that. Like
100%.
that's real love.
Yeah,
Not
I
like
agree.
I love you so much. I just
Real love is
I
when
can't
you
live
call
without you.
them bruv. That's what that
You
is.
can have both.
You can.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend does call me dude. She'll be like, "I love you so much, dude." And I'm like, "Yeah, same,
Yeah.
bro."
Yeah, I know it's unavoidable. Like
It's
this,
great.
That's what real love is. There's stage one
Love-
love is, I love you so much, and real love is, what are you doing right now, bruv? What the fuck you
Yeah.
wearing, bruv?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
It
fake.
can be. It can be both. It can be both. I think
It can
love
definitely be
contains a
both.
multitude. Yeah.
I think love is like telling someone that like you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life, and then farting immediately afterwards.
Yeah, you're right. That is love.
You know?
Yeah. There's what is love if not flatulence?
Make it happen, devs.
That's,
That's
how you know
real
it's
love.
real.
Welcome everybody. We are. It feels like we're late, but we're not. We just recorded the episode last time so early, pre-Game Awards. Anybody have anything from the Game Awards that they would like to talk about? That thing that happened 10 years ago? Ben's in
Snoop
Tekken.
Dogg.
He was also there.
Were they?
Oh, I was there. Yeah, Ben's in Tekken. Ben's in Tekken
Ben's
now.
in Tekken. Huge news. Huge news.
Not Clive Rossfield.
No, it's
Ben
just
is
Ben
in
Starr.
Tekken.
Yeah.
It's Ben Starr pretending to be Clive Rossfield. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen for a very long time.
That people would just ask you to do the Clive voice?
Yeah, no, but I mean, he is Clive. He is like, it's literally Clive in Tekken. He's the special character.
Oh,
He's
Clive
literally
I
in
see.
Tekken.
Yes. Oh,
And I
yes,
remember
yes, yes,
Koji
yes.
asking me about that and being like, just so you know, Clive's going to be in Tekken. And I was like, great. But as with all things, I suppose this is like, inside baseball. I knew about that for 18 months for such a long time. And you just have to keep that secret, it's just super, super secret. And then going in and doing all the stuff. And the difficulty is when you're recording for a fighting game, as opposed to
Yeah.
when you're recording for an RPG, is that a fighting game has significant lose states, which a lot of RPGs don't. So like Clive has to die or be defeated. And so you have to say like, not like this. And it's like, that doesn't happen in the game. Like it's just game over. So like I had to like die in certain ways, and it's about adapting a lot of the things you already know from the game, but turning it into a fighting
It's
game.
almost like
And
you're
that was-
creating like a sort of extra layer of the character of Clive. Like it's a layer he did not have previously. That's interesting. Like you have to stay the same character that
Well,
you played years ago,
also,
in
Yep.
theory. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
but also, I think like Tekken or even like any of the brawlers like Smash Brothers or they come up with sort of a fiction in universe for why there are these cross promotional crossovers. And I feel like that gives you the wiggle room to be like, oh, well, this is my character, but this is also my character if they were punted through some sort of a portal to get to, this game.
Erica, are you in Mortal Kombat?
Sorry,
Is that
can
what
I
you're in?
interject real quick?
Yeah.
Erica, your mic is popping a little, but it'll be fine if
Oh
are you
no.
able to record an individual audio track?
Should I turn it down? Yeah, actually, let me.
Then I can just edit it so that your bits are your bits, and it'll be fine. Sorry.
Okay, we are now recording.
Thank you.
Here.
Erica,
Yes.
are you in a fighting game? I'm Ben
Erica,
Starr.
are you in
I am in a
Erica, are you
fighting
in Mortal Kombat?
Yes, I am. I am Sector in Mortal Kombat. And there are other fighting games. I do a lot of efforts, I think. Yeah. It's just, and I feel like there's other games that I'm in that have crossovers or that have done crossovers before, and it's like it's interesting because there's a wiggle room within the fiction to be like, well, this is because Mario wouldn't actually be beating up Sonic, so you have to sort of like invent, as you said, like a different layer on top of that character.
Hates hedgehogs.
Of,
That's the
you know,
layer.
this is the
Hates
character,
hedgehogs.
but-
Mario notoriously anti-hedgehog. Beat them all up. Hates them.
Huh. I think just in general, small critters like woodland creatures,
That's
Mario
true.
has a
Against.
history
You're
of
absolutely right.
violence.
Yeah,
It seems uncalled for, like considering he's a plumber.
we should cancel him. Anyway, how long do you usually record for when you do a fighting game? In my head, it's not that long. Like, what is that process like? Am I delusional?
How long was it for you, Erica?
It probably depends. It depends on the game and if they can use efforts or things from other places. I think usually it's only I've done ones that are like 3 sessions, and they're about 4 hours, 2 or 4 hours each.
Okay, yeah.
As well, because a lot of times there's a limit on how long they can be if you're doing fight efforts.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. You have to limit it. I remember the build up to me doing Tekken was so long, and then they were like, "And we need to record it in 2 days."
Yeah.
And I went, "I'm so busy, guys. I don't know if I can do this." But I understood how important it was, and it's you're doing any efforts. You should not really be doing any. I mean, if they ask you to do 4 hours of efforts, that's a lot. I don't know what it's like with if you're a member of SAG or in America, but like I'm very
Yeah, technically it's a 2-hour limit on effort sessions. Thank you, SAG.
and it just should be because your voice is just screwed.
Yeah.
And also people want to take advantage of it. They want to just the thing with fighting games is that you get carried away and you think your voice can do something and you do that one extra take that's just going to screw your voice up for like 3 days. And that happened actually with me where I got enthusiastic and I was like, I'll do one more take for you. It's like, you shouldn't do one more take because actually they're not going to take that take and you shouldn't shred your voice. And so now I just offer people 2. I'm going to do 2 and I'm going to do a rehearsal at maybe 30% just to get are we good with the timings? The worst thing you can do in any game, and this happened a lot in games that I've done, where they ask you to do the big primal roar, the big moment like that, and they go, "Oh my God, you are 3 frames longer than we can use. Can you do that again? But we need 0.5 of a second." That's the worst thing you can do.
At that point, I'd tell them to change it. It's my first ever voice acting thing that I did was I had efforts. And I came into this as a cameo, no training. This is before I would have even considered myself remotely an actor, right? I was just doing fun cameos. They had to give me the throat coat during the session because I burnt my voice out an hour in. I had no idea that was a thing that happened to people. And it also wasn't structured in a way that, like, I was yelling from the start. and then had to do more yelling. Like I had a hoarse voice for probably like 2 weeks after that, but I just had no idea that was even a thing. It's like, wow, is talking that much going to be a problem? Yeah, when you're kind of yelling. And I remember one of the most challenging things about doing efforts, which like related to what you said about having to record a bunch of dying lines, Ben.
Yeah.
Again, this is when I had literally no experience and wasn't even like really trying to learn. I had they told me that my dying sounds were too sad. Like I sounded too sad. And I was like, I'm dying. I don't know how to change that. And it's probably not bad feedback, but I guess it was like they were like, this is still an action game. And I guess I didn't know how to not sound miserable while having the life fade from me, which is a very fun and strange challenge to have.
I also think that like I've had this recently, and I'm not going to say what game it is that I've had this with, but I think often what you do is you can have sessions that are directed by producers and producers that do actually not fundamentally understand
I do think now that particular thing was the worst direction I've ever had. But
yeah, but
I also didn't know how to take it. Like I wasn't understanding, because that's like part of the relationship. I didn't understand the feedback I was being given. I didn't know how to translate it to a better performance either. So it was like, it wasn't good across the board.
Yeah, when you're a younger actor, when you're young in your voice acting career, it's difficult to, number one, know what to do, know what your rights are if it's a union game. And also, it's really hard to say no because you want to make a good impression. And you don't want, you're like, I'm going to get fired, or like, oh, a bunch of other people would do this. But I think that it's not worth it to damage your voice, because you can do irreparable damage. Or even like if you have auditions even later on that day, you're not going to be able to give your 100% to those. So it's always worth it. And like shout out to some incredible directors that I've had before, Amanda Wyatt and Khalil Bogdanov, and just so many more who definitely, not only like, they go above and beyond to protect their actors. They'll say, like you were saying, they'll say, we want 2 takes of efforts. We save all of the on fire, long falls, battle cries for the end. They play you or do themselves the length that they want, so that you're not having to guess about it. Or sometimes they'll have like a bank of voiceover. Like, I don't know if they did that for you for your efforts at all, of like, they have somebody else's efforts and then be like, okay, we need short jabs and it should sound like this. So, I mean, if
does that not count as
for
line
those
reading?
of you just
And
starting
also, I
out,
don't remember we've spoken about it. How do you guys feel about line reading?
Oh, have we not talked about that?
I don't know if we have or not yet. For the record, I don't give a shit. But I'm not like...
Yeah, sure.
Like an esteemed actor. My thing is like, tell me what you want and how you would like me to do it as well as possible. I just want to make your thing the way you want it. I don't care at all.
Yeah.
It really varies. So like, ultimately there are 2 things. Like, I'm there to be... All kind of art is a level of alchemy, right? Where like there's the written
So sorry,
word.
I realized we didn't explain what line reading was. Sorry. That's when a director or producer or whatever goes, just say it like this, and then goes, you're listening to Voice Acting 101. And then they're just trying to tell you to say it how you did.
Yes.
Sorry, Ben, go ahead.
No, but it's actually really, you kind of take it for granted, right? You're going, surely you know what a line read is. But it's when a director, instead of directing you and gives you options and allows you to explore the part, they specifically tell you the exact inflection of how to say it. And that is pretty much in most of the acting profession, it's completely frowned upon.
Yeah.
Because it's taking any sort of creativity out of it, and it's them printing a version of what they have in their head, which is
I see
actually
the issue if they did it immediately. I think I'm okay with it if we're like 3 takes in and I'm not doing it right. I get what you mean. If they did it straight away, I'd be like, why am I here then?
Yeah. I mean, like,
I understand that.
I have a various... I don't have an ego when it comes to ultimately, if I'm not giving you what you want.
But you also went to school and you're an expert, and like you, like I think I maybe don't care because I assume other people know better than me in this particular field. But you are always going to know better about performance than the voice director, right?
Also, inside baseball, like, there are loads of lines in games that are not the read that I gave. They're the read of 3 different lines that have been jabbed together from 3 different reads. And like, I have the confidence in my sessions, which is quite nice. If I'm going to do a session, I go, actually, guys, can we take the first sentence from that, the second sentence from that, and the thing from that? Because actually, ultimately, you're trying to piece something together. And even though it's not actually organic, it feels more organic because you're going to go, I was able to kind of get all the emotion that I wanted in that thing. But when it comes to a line read, I prefer to give you what I want. I'm going to give you what I want a couple of times. And then there are some times when a director goes, no, I specifically need this. I need this from you. And I can't compute in my head. And so I'll just say, can you just tell me what you want? And then I'll hear it and I'll go, great, I'll give you my version of that. Because sometimes then but great directors never need to give you a line read because they're very good at trusting you. Yeah. And then often, like if I've been on a job for a couple of years and a director comes in and starts giving me a line read, I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Because I know the character better than you, so don't tell me how to say this line. But often, sometimes I do need that, and it really is context. Context is super, super important.
Yeah.
Do we have a number of lines to get through? Are you under pressure from that thing? Does it really matter? Like, where are we? Like, I would always prefer to go into a session and have context be given to me so I can give you the best version of that thing. But sometimes they just need this in their head and they can't get it out.
Yeah.
Erika,
yeah, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that pretty much summarizes my thoughts on it. Like, I love when it can be a collaboration. I am always very open to direction. I want the project to be what they had in mind, but also I think sometimes the best way for them to tell me what they want is for them to tell it to me. Because I think, like I definitely, like, if I trust somebody, I'll take a line read because I'm like, oh, this is like specifically the cadence or the musicality that you want on this. Or in the case of efforts, it's like, well, if I don't get it right the first time due to length or, intensity, then I have to do it again and it'll bust my voice.
Yeah.
So, like, very happy to hear, for efforts, especially something like that. Generally, I think the best directors that I work with like to hear what you have in mind. They'll give you as much context as they can. They want to hear how you interpret it, and then they will adjust a performance if they need to. Because also sometimes actors bring in something that the people in charge didn't think about.
Totally, yeah.
Or like a new aspect, and 'cause that's kind of where the magic happens. We talk a lot about how generative AI can't innovate, and it's like that, right? Where it will do exactly what you tell it to do. That's exciting because you can't always get an actor to do exactly what you want them to, but then neither too can you get an AI to have something innovative or insightful or truer to this character that these people know so intimately.
Like AI can't invent; it can only copy. So it just cannot have that spark of inspiration, like you said. It's only going to copy what's happened before. And I think that there's those moments that you get where you give a completely unexpected line read that you go, that's really, really good. I've been working on Hades 2, and I went into that job so fucking nervous because Hades is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm working with like heroes of mine, and I've played Hades to death. I know the house style of Hades, like a banger of a video game. It's so good. The performances are so specific. They're so very particular to what that style is. I remember like turning up and thinking I was going to give a certain type of performance, and then almost like Darren said, no, don't do that. And so I went in with this idea and they went, no, that's not what we want. And so it's like sometimes you can come in with an idea and then actually you're playing in a different playground than you thought, because you're like, I've got all these ideas about how I'm going to play this character, and they went, actually no, the reason we liked you was for X, Y, and Z. And so actually you start playing it completely differently. So it's like you've actually got to throw everything out, being like, I know exactly how I'm going to play this Hades character. And they went, it's like that except it's not. And I was like, okay, cool.
It's you, but everything else is wrong.
those instincts are great but not right.
Yeah.
But not at all. Like it's about just being able to modulate and adjust to what you think and understanding what their style is. And the best way of kind of maybe summing up Greg's writing on Hades is it's very, very, very similar to restoration theatre. And when I say that, I mean that restoration theatre, whenever you do it at drama school or you ever see it, it's incredibly long, muscular sentences that actually don't really end. So that it's like really, really long, beautifully written sentences that were probably going for a long period of time. So as an actor, as an exercise, it's incredible because they go on for a really long time and they're fast. And so it's like the ability to, on the breath, be able to say the line at speed while still making meaning, but not being too sentimental on it. And it's this just insane kind of clusterfuck of ideas where I'm like, okay, so what? But when you do it, it just seems so easy. All the actors make it seem so easy when they do it. But actually, they're juggling like 5 things at the same time,
Interesting.
which was say the line as quickly as possible, don't kind of throw it away, but also insert loads of meaning and stuff onto it. And it's this, it's incredible what they've managed to do. But Greg's writing is so beautiful, you kind of don't need to put anything else on it. You don't need to act it because the words do the work for you. But in your
what a
mind,
treasure. Like, what a wonderful thing to be able to do.
yeah, his. I mean, I like again. I'm probably evangelizing it just because how much I love Hades, but to be able to work on that
all
project
of
is
his games have been incredibly well written.
yes, and they have this beautiful, beautiful style, but also it feels very collaborative. But you have an idea of what it would be like to work on a game that you value so much, but to come onto it and be like, okay, so this is how it works. That's really interesting. You prep yourself up. I'm going, okay, so this is my dream job. How do I do it? And
Is that
actually,
an experience that pops up often in terms of like, we have this specific cadence in which you must speak? Like, that's not something that I've heard of before, but I'm sure it exists. Like,
I
have you ever gotten
think
like this style or like, I don't know, things like that?
it's very interesting that you reference, restoration theater as a touchstone for this, because I think there is always the temptation as, fans of something that we tend to like play it and live in it and know it very well. And so there's a temptation to sort of imitate it, and to be it helps to know like a world. There's most of the times when I show up on a game at a game studio, knowing the background and knowing like has helped me book the job and also helps so we can get through a session fast because they don't need to explain anything to me. But also it's better to have sort of touchstones that are broader, because otherwise you're just trying to imitate other people's performances,
Right.
and those performances are already perfect. So you don't like, so kind of, I think a thing that I tell people, especially beginning in voiceover for video games, that is that like be familiar with the style and the genre and the type of game and game design, but don't try to imitate particular performances,
Yeah.
because it's much better to build up your skills of cold reading and taking direction than to and sort of having a broad knowledge of different styles rather than just trying to imitate a
Yeah.
voice style.
the biggest strength you can have is you. Like you are the only thing that cannot literally be replicated unless people are trying to do it through AI. So like that's your strength. If you're very good at doing impressions of people, it doesn't mean you're going to be a great actor. It means you're very good at doing impersonations, which is still an amazing skill. And I'm always baffled. Like the
That's an amazing
people who
skill
can
I'm
do
not
that, I'm like,
necessarily good
that
at,
is
yeah.
wild when people can see someone's voice and replicate it. Like I still, that's like magic to me. But yeah, I think that like being able to establish what strength your voice has or what strength your acting has and doesn't have is really useful going into a thing, like again, I think I'm really proud of the stuff that I've done or am doing on Hades. It's really, really great. But again, I went in as a fan and then I realized actually I've got to be an actor, not a fan, and remodulate my performance in that too, because I'm not imitating anything. I'm creating something new in that space. And I think finding what your voice is, and I don't mean just your voice, finding what you as a being can offer that is different and new and exciting, as opposed to copying someone else is going to be way more useful.
Confidence, dude. Does wonders. Like, it's just so important across the board to be confident in yourself, and like then that's kind of where you unlock a whole bunch of creative potential, right? Is like you feel confident in yourself, you feel confident to try things, try
Yeah.
weird stuff that you otherwise wouldn't be willing to try. But directly off of what you're saying, you know, you both worked on Tekken and Mortal Kombat, are very big franchises with very long histories. Did you have any preconceived notions about doing those performances, or was there any like, oh, okay, I need to go play this game and see what this particular fighting game style of performance is? Or did you just look at it as this is another version of a character?
It's funny because I have almost every sort of IP that I grew up loving. I've gotten to be a part of in some
That
way.
rules.
And it is kind of a balance of sort of, again, like knowing what it sounds like, you know, knowing the things that would be expected of you. Because when you audition, you know, they are looking for something that would fit in that universe, you know?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, being able to bring something that is unique and of yourself. I think that there were times, you know, definitely that I have had to, when I'm in projects, you know, just broadly speaking, like sort of really know and internalize and think back to having played the game, but then also really be able to sort of let go of it. Because, you know, when you hear the sounds of the efforts, or when you hear a line read, the ideal thing to do is to hear it and be like, okay, so you're listening for specific timing on this, but in terms of attitude, or in terms of like, oh, I'm 14 feet away from this person. It's like you have to sort of adjust for all of those.
Yeah.
I think that I feel very fortunate that of the things that I've been in, I have gotten to sort of be part of new things. But then at the same time, you know, pay homage to the things that I loved.
I mean, for me with Tekken, it was like, oh, do you want to take the character that you originated and shove him in a fighting game? And I was like, it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
For me, the pressure was revisiting the character. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that character is done. So when I was like, okay, so he's back, but he's in a game that's not this game, and he's in a different world. He's essentially been isekai'd into Tekken 8. And there's a line that kind of popped off when the game came out, which is, what the hell is cosplay? Young people kind of got excited by that. I remember discussing that line with Koji, and we were going, I think this one's going to get memed. And it did, which was great fun. But like, for me, the pressure was taking a character that I was known for and putting them in a different genre.
Yeah.
There's still action, but it is different. It's like, how do we make it still feel authentic to the character, but placing it within the context of Tekken and the fight combat. So yeah, I went and watched and played Tekken and went, okay, so this is how it should sound.
Yeah.
But how do I then take that, which I've already done? And because with Clive we use a lot of the same. We use the same icon powers, so there's things like Leviathan and Odin, and so it's like a lot of the same attack noises that you make. We re-recorded everything for the game. Everything is for Tekken. There's nothing like reused from that, so it had to be for the game. Bandai were really, really specific about that, and I remember being on the call with a really intimidating sessions where there's 20 people from, you know, the entire Tekken team are on the call, and
No pressure, it's fine.
None of them speak English. So like, it's the only person who's translating is Koji, who's on the line with me. And so we're going, wow, we're back. And actually, with the person who voice directed, which was really, really beautiful, the person who voice directed my Tekken sessions was the same person who directed me, was my first director for the first 2 years on Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, no way.
She just happened to come back for the session, had no idea what it was. And it was really beautiful. And she was like, what are we doing? I went, we're doing Clive again for Tekken. She's like, that's mad. So
Did you have to revisit Clive at all? Like, obviously you played that character for a really long time. It was like, do any part of you forget what he sounds like?
No, Cameo exists.
I feel like when you're in it
Gotta do them all the
I feel like when
time.
you're in it that long, when you're in it that long, it just like comes back to you. And then
Yeah.
also they'll play you like a little clip, they have reference, they'll bless the audio engineers who will go digging through files and wikis to give you reference for your
My favorite
character.
thing, my favorite thing that happened was when I turned up for that session. It was a big thing, but obviously it was really secret, so no one could know about it. And actually, no one in the studio knew what it was. But I was like, "Guys, it's Tekken," but I couldn't say that. And they, in the studio, gave me a reference for Clive, so they just put a picture of Clive Rossfield next to my stand.
That's so cute.
And I actually put it up. It's a photo that I kind of cheekily put up, saying thank you to everyone after the Rising Tide was announced. I went, thanks to everyone. That's actually me in a recording session for Tekken, because they just put a picture of Clive to remind me who he was.
That's so funny.
And I
That's
was
so
like,
sweet.
Remember.
This guy, by the way.
This guy. Do you remember this guy? But yeah,
I will say, I remember back in Ye Day, I bought Tekken. I bought a second copy of Tekken when they announced Link was joining.
he's Link in Tekken.
He was in one
Six,
in an older
six or
generation.
5? What's he in?
I don't know.
I think it's
5?
I was big into Soul Calibur, which had there was like a Yoda one.
Yeah.
That was my.
Oh no! Yeah, no, that was Soul Calibur.
I thought
Soul
so.
Calibur.
I was like, he
that was
definitely
Soul
was.
Calibur.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god!
love Soul
Yeah. So,
Calibur.
but basically, oh my god, I played. Yeah, but basically, I am like the target audience for adding some character to another game is me. Like
It is
I just
fun.
love the idea. Yeah, it's just fun and silly, and it's like a thing that exists because they know fans want it.
I mean, one of my most
and
hyped.
so
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean, I think that that's another thing too that is like just fun and glorious about some games is that it exists because because fans want it.
Totally. We
Because
love fan
you
service,
get to say a thing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so one of my most hyped game announcements of all time was Joker from Persona being announced for Smash. Like, I lost my mind. There was actually tons of good stuff from this year's Game Awards. Like, dude, they ominously named Okami sequel. I did not
Yeah.
see that coming. Like, blew my mind, dude. Like, oh my god, it was a great Game Awards. But yeah, the Smash Bros. Like waiting for those character reveals, I feel is like a cultural moment. We would wait every time just to see who it was. It's super fun.
I'll never forget Sora. The
Sora.
moment when Sora was announced. Like
People cried.
people cried. Like, look at those reactions, and like they are people who are crying at the announcement of a character in Smash Brothers, but it fucking mattered.
Yeah.
And it's like it's the beautiful communal moment of going, do you care as much as I do? And like
Yeah.
it's just a character in another game that you like, but it's an acknowledgement that the company cares enough to put their character in it. So look at the joy that people got from Astro Bot, like seeing. Right, but seeing like the beautiful nostalgia of seeing your favorite character.
The serotonin you
That game
see
is
of like
incredible.
having a tiny little like Jack and Daxter, Oh my god.
And then their cute little
Oh,
outfits.
it's
oh my
so
god.
good. It's so joyful.
Okay, I'm going to show you something because I'm never allowed to post it on Twitter.
Great.
Okay, which is I used to post stuff on social media all the time, like stupid,
Can't do that.
fake, silly things. And
No, you've really matured recently.
thank you so much. Bellatro's really mellowed me. Oh no, we're not done. And I would do, my friend Morgan would do like these really silly like illustrations and things for me. And one of the things that he did was where I did a stupid video when Astrobot came out, which was like pretending to be the voice of Astrobot. So it was like, hi, I'm the voice of Astrobot. You can call me Astrobottom, but my friends just call me As.
Very good.
And
very good.
yeah, it's good stuff. And Morgan sent me this. Okay, please hold caller. Please hold for applause. And we refrained from actually posting it because we were like, there are no Square Enix characters in it. But he made this,
Oh my
which
god.
is called Clive Rossfield Clive Ross
That's
Field,
incredible. That's so well done.
isn't it?
Wow.
And we
This is
were like,
bigger.
we can't do it because people would think that Clive was actually in Astrobot,
because
but
it's
he's
too
not.
well done.
It was like, Morgan, it's too good. It actually looks like Clive in
Dude,
Astrobot. But
that's
I just
so
think it's really
good.
fucking cool. Yeah,
That's
it's really fucking
amazing.
cool.
Yeah,
What
I
would
even had
his
the
what would
excitement
his
for
little
God of War.
animation be?
Sorry, just for playing
Yeah.
His
through
animation
those.
would be this.
There's a whole
It'd be
section.
that, and then like fire goes around him like that, and then a little like ifrit comes out, and then it pops and it puffs away, and it's like, oh, and he'd like shake it off and then try it
Astrobot,
again.
the perfect video game. It's incredible.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. There's a whole segment
good.
for God of War, obviously, in the second one, but the first game, it was like Kratos on a boat,
Yeah.
and I got just so, especially when you work at a game studio full time, I just like those characters just became like part of my family in a way. Like I was just seeing them all the time, and I knew them so well, and I had to write things that no one will ever
There's
see. That like
so
fleshes out where
many
they were.
statues.
Yes.
I don't know if any like for those of you listening, like there's so many in your place of business. There are like at least 3 like
They're all over the place.
life size or larger than life size
giant Kratoses everywhere.
statues. Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm like, oh look at, but
With
he's
functional
tiny
clothing.
and cute here. Oh my god, it's just so cute.
That
I love
level
it so
was
much.
so.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
my
it's
favorite was the boy mixed into the
know.
soundtrack.
When I did
God,
my
it was-
boxing walkout, I actually should release the audio at some point. Because I dressed sort of as Kratos, I asked Chris Judge if he would record audio for me for my walkout. And so before I walk out, it goes, boy. And then he said, no, girl. And that's all I asked him to say. And that is what he said. But then there's this like bit afterwards where he said something that was along the line, which like I didn't ask for. It was like, go out and win, you have earned it, or something. It's the coolest fucking thing in the world. But I guess
so
it's only ever been broadcast in that arena, so I should probably just actually release the file that he sent me because it was so,
That's so
so
cool.
cool.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we don't have a lot of time today because my day sucks and I pushed a thing to be able to do this, and Abu's not here because he's hanging out with people much cooler than us. I have a question
Yeah.
for you guys before I go, because
yeah.
obviously my agenda with this show is just to learn from my friends. I have my first ever callback this week. Usually, I understand talking about these kinds of
Yay!
things
Congrats!
is, thank you so much, is like you're not supposed to, but like my attitude is very, if I don't get it, it's fine. Like, I'm happy to be here, and I've not done this before, and I'm excited to do anything, and because I'm not trying to act full time, there's no pressure on me, whatever. But I've gotten like a bunch of scripts since VHS came out, and this is one of 2 that I really, really liked. And so I submitted my first ever self-tape. First time ever doing it. Not for, I've done audio ones, but I've never done a video one before. Which was, I actually really enjoyed it. Like, I wasn't sure if I would like that process or if I would find it stressful, but it was like, it was a really fun thing of recording it. And then I would go and watch it back and be like, let me try that differently. And I really liked it. And so I have a callback, and I was just going to be like, what is that? What do I do? What should I expect from that? What does that mean? I like have literally no clue.
Is it in person or
No.
is it
Via Zoom.
over Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I learned? This is a really like. Don't fucking worry. They like you. They like you, and like I think there's this pressure to get it right. Like they want to know whether they can work with you. I imagine if you're meeting a director, they're going to want to direct you.
That is
So
also what
be
I'm
malleable.
expecting. It's just for them to direct me.
Let them direct you and show them that you can be directed. Like,
Okay,
and
interesting.
obviously
So
with-
you think that the callback is not necessarily that they were like, well, we want to see something different. You think that, I guess every director is different, right? But that it could instead be, we want to
No,
see if we like working
the
with you.
reason yeah, the reason that you get called back usually is because they saw something about you that they liked. Sometimes it's like your specific performance. Sometimes they're like, oh, you seem like you made a really strong choice and that's not what we want.
There's
but like
something there.
you seem like, there's something there. You had good instincts. It's like truly kind of be open to it. And I think that that attitude of like, well, I don't know, whatever happens, happens, is the best way to go in, because I can say, like, honestly, I've shot myself in the foot so many times by just like trying to guess what
Yeah,
they want.
true. I like,
and
at
what they
this point,
want is they will tell you what they want.
True. And if you try and fulfill it, you can just do the wrong thing entirely. So yeah, you're right. That makes a ton of
Yes.
sense. Like,
Yeah.
my thing right now is that I'm just actually like pretty excited to talk to them because, like I said, I actually really liked the script, and I've received a lot of scripts that I thought were very bad. So it's like, even if I don't book the job, I'm just like excited to talk to the director about it. Like, I have things that I'm like, even if I don't do, can I ask you a question? Like, I just want to talk to them. So I'm like looking forward to doing it. And I looked up some things, like obviously I've spoken to Rahul about it. I looked up some things, and there's all this stuff that's like, wear the same thing. It was like, I don't feel like I'm going to do that. Like, I don't think I'm gonna, I don't, like, I didn't even probably put as much thought into what I was wearing as I maybe should have when I did it the first time.
Yeah, I think you can translate that specific piece of advice to like just kind of do what you did,
Yeah.
unless they tell you otherwise, I think yeah, I don't think you need to specifically wear the same thing. Also, interestingly enough, I think, you know, you talking to them about this project that you're excited about is, that's, I think, something that's, I don't want to say
Part
it's
of
like
the
a good
callback, I guess.
tactic 'cause
Maybe,
that
yeah, maybe
feels,
it's a thing.
yeah, but it's part of the callback because, and also a lot of times for a callback, you've already what's called booked the room. So it's like they're like, oh, there's something about this person that we like. Maybe if this character doesn't work out, we call them for another character, or maybe we put them in some other project years down the line. In some ways, you have made you have been invited into
You are
this
not
room.
auditioning for the role in front of you. You're auditioning for the role that you're going to get in 3 years' time.
That makes sense.
Like
Yeah.
that's always the attitude you have to have as an actor, which is you want to be in it long term. Whatever you think of the role in front of you, you think about how you are to work with. That if it might not be you're not right for the character, it might be that someone's more right than you. There's nothing that you can do.
Yeah.
You go into the room, do the thing,
Yeah.
make some choices, make some fucking bold choices, make some wrong choices, but make some right choices. See how playful you are, and ultimately they're going to bring you back either for something else in this project or something further down the line, and they're going to go, she wasn't right for this, but she's right for this.
Or at the very
Like
least, I get to like talk to somebody that I think has made something cool in terms of the script, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
win in itself as well.
Yeah, that's way more exciting and interesting. And I would also say too that, actors are by nature a cowardly and superstitious lot. But the thing that can help with the fear or with the, sort of anxieties of it is to just prepare whatever is in your own control.
Yeah.
I think that's actually probably a good thing for life. Like work on what you control,
Yeah,
and then
I mean,
everything
anxiety
else
in general,
can
right?
kind of.
Don't worry about the things. And I
Yeah.
guess like I am
Yeah.
a little anxious about it. I don't feel like I'm nervous or anything, but because I just have no idea what I'm walking into. I don't know what
Yeah.
it's gonna be like. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, but you and you know what you
Yeah.
bring to the table, and it comes
I
back to
also
confidence
considered like
again.
what a great
of-
opportunity for me, because it's a lead role for me to feel out if I would want to work with this person too, right? Like, there's a full chance that if I don't like them, then I wouldn't want to go make something with them at the same time. And I feel like that's something I'm considering too, is like, well, we're vibe check. Like, how do I feel about them at the same time as how do they feel about me? And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I probably am making myself anxious by being like, where's my eye line? Do I look directly at the camera when I'm doing this? Like, it's just, I just don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Someone suggested that I put a sticky note on the side so I have an eye
Yeah.
line. That's a
for
good,
an
I
eye
should do
line,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cameras.
Yeah,
does seem weird.
or wherever. Like if you feel like you can, look up. Generally, you want the eye line to be somewhere not directly spiking the camera anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having some sort of reference point is good.
Do you guys have any?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that I think there's a lot of technical things that you can kind of learn through trial and error, but just the overall advice, I think, as Ben said, is just be open to direction.
It makes sense.
I mean, that's what I'd want to see. Like just be open to the chaos that is whatever process, and also understand that they all piss shit and vomit like everyone else. Like it's a human being at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Like
it's true.
this idea, people want to venerate. Like we want to give white fucking coats and call
Yeah.
people doctors.
You'll do the
They're
same thing.
not. We all do the same fucking thing, and it's like I always find it so interesting when if I'm in a position of like being a director or a producer or whatever, people treat you differently. I'm like, it's not, I'm the same person. So understand that like you're looking for those same things. Like you just want to make something cool.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do
you'll
either
be
of you
fine.
have any
like this, and this is not coming from a point of anxiety, I swear, I'm just curious. Any callbacks that you feel like you like really fucked up and then you ended up booking it? Like, is that a thing that's happened where you're like, oh, I did this badly, or I feel like I was too awkward, and then you end up still working with them?
I feel like I am incredibly hard on myself. And so, like,
You do that every
there
time?
have definitely been, yeah. And so it's like, I just have learned to be like, well, did I have fun?
Yeah.
Like in the moment doing it, then great. That's what I wanted from this. Because I think, yeah, I've screwed up terribly and gotten things. I've done really well and not gotten it. I think it's just kind of like I try to have fun and then it's, and then it's in the wind.
Yeah, you just gotta let it go. Rahul keeps saying that. It's like, don't, because even this, like,
Yeah.
even before I got the callback was maybe like a 2 week wait, and he was like, forget about it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think I checked my emails the first 2 days, and then I was like, okay, won't think about it. But if he hadn't
There
been the
was
person to give
you
me that
checked
advice,
your
I might have.
email for responses.
Yeah. It was, like, insane.
Audition technique is so much. Audition technique is so much more than just the audition. It's everything surrounding that. It's knowing when you're doing self tapes, do 3 takes and that's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to do a better take than 3 because you're also never going to get more than 3 takes when you do the actual fucking job. Like whether it's on TV, film, like we don't have time. So you have to be able to make those choices, those instinctual choices that you'd make on set or you'd make them in a game.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3 takes in a game, you get 3 takes on a TV show, you're probably going to get 3 takes in a film set. So make those takes count. Because that's what you as a professional are going to be relied on. And if you're doing 5 or 6, you've lost it.
That's interesting.
And you have lost it if it's 5 or 6, because then you're in the weeds of actually looking at stuff that no one else is looking at, because someone's only going to look at it once, but you're now seeing the 5 or 6 take and you're dividing them up
You're
in that
gonna
certain
drive
way.
yourself crazy.
I know actors, very successful actors who do 10, 15,
Yeah.
16, 20 takes, and they are very successful at it, but I also know they're very fucking unhappy. And like, just for me, I just throw it away. I go, I'm going to give you what I give you, and I'm going to leave it, because otherwise I have the capacity to overthink. And so I just now have kind of resisted that, and I've become a lot more successful as a result of not overthinking. Which is really hard because
Yeah.
I hate so much stuff that I do in the moment. And I'm actually very unhappy with a lot of sessions that I do. And then I come out and I watch the game, play the game, and I go, that's quite good. But at the time, you're just so overthinking it.
Yeah.
And I think some of my worst work, some of the stuff that I thought was my worst work is my best.
No way.
And that's just like there's a scene in 16 that I hated when I came out of the room, and it's the scene that everyone loves the most, and it's the moment where Clive's reunite with Annabella, and it's just really difficult because I thought it was terrible. I thought
No
I
way.
misjudged, and then it's the one that everyone kind of talks about,
Hmm.
or like there's other stuff like in other games that I've done where like I looked at it, and at the time I thought this isn't very good. I've really not nailed it. It's great in the game. And so actually it's the ability to let go and allow someone else's faith in you to trump yours.
Yeah.
And
It's a really
you
good
are
way to
not.
put that.
And it's really, really hard, and it's hard to let go. And again, that alchemy, that we're coming back to, do you like being line reads? Sometimes the director does know better. So actually sometimes just let them give you what they want, and they will hopefully guide you in the direction of, you are not an island in this. You are one tiny ingredient in a much, much larger fucking dish.
It's also
So
an easy
just
thing to forget that, like, you're a team. Like, whenever you do something for a director, they want you to be doing the best possible. They're not hoping for you to fail. They're not watching for you to fail. Like, they want it to be perfect. Like, everyone, you can feel like you're on an island with something like that. Everyone wants you to be everyone's rooting for you at every step of the way.
That's why doing sessions. I mean, you must have found this and obviously you can't reveal too much about Ghost of Yote. Very excited, by the way. Performance capture is so fucking exciting because you're in a volume with people, and sometimes if you're doing things remotely, auditions can be hard because you have nothing really to relate to other than a reader who's probably giving you nothing. Or if you're in a booth, you're with a director who's giving you nothing because they're probably reading the opposite lines. Very rarely you sometimes have the other lines read in. It feels so stagnant, whereas like when you're together, there's that's fucking exciting. That's really cool. Any Yote
Yeah, tell us about it.
Oh, you
What's
think
going on with
you want a little
going on with
exclusive?
that?
You want
Yes,
a
I
little
do. Yeah,
exclusive?
tell us anything about it, please.
Well, talk to your bosses, Alana. tell them I want to tell them you need an exclusive on
They
this
would
podcast.
Definitely
You tell
say
'em.
no. Sony would be like, absolutely the fuck not.
Hey,
There's no
tell you
way.
what we can do. Honestly,
I know.
Erica, trust me. Everyone, close your ears. Erica, you just tell me it's fine.
Okay. So I play